Hello everyone, my name is Utsav and in today's session we are going to talk about the Core Web Vitals and also explore its ranking signals impact on the SEO. So let's get started. So let's cover some basic key points, right? So what is a Core Web Vital? A Core Web Vital is something that is like defined by Google, and it measures how quickly a paid page is visible, a web page is visible, and also how long it takes before a user can interact with it. And the third thing is visual stability. So three things: visible, interact, and the third thing is visual stability, right? Stability. So like this is all the perspective of an end user, right? This is all from the end user perspective. So there has to be a particular metric, right, which can be tied to it, so that things are put into perspective, and it's easier for not just for Google and other companies to measure it, but also for the developers and product managers to be able to define. So let's look at what is the particular metric, right? So the kind of the first metric that we measure as per the Core Web Vitals is the LCP. This is also called largest contentful paint. The second metric that we measure is the FID. It is the first input delay. And the third metric that we measure for the visual stability is CLS, or the cumulative layout shift. Now, Google has always been user centric, and if it's good for the user, most of the times it's good for the SEO as well. So, but these are the few, these three are specifically very important for Google, and hence, as a developer or a tech entrepreneur, product manager, you have to think about taking care, right? So let's think about some timeline, right? So in May 2020, Google announced something called a page experience signals, right? It will become like a rankings factor. So now, things like mobile friendliness, this could be one thing. Second thing is safe browsing. Third thing is, HTTPS using, fourth thing is content accessibility, right? Accessibility. So these are the four factors, right? And then after that, in November 2020, Google kind of identified or kind of defined these three core web vitals. This is nothing new to elaborate on this. It's all been around. It's just that Google has, and generally it has been more defined so that the larger community can work on it. So the core web vitals became a ranking signal, as per the SEO and the tech community. It became on June 2021. So this is the timeline why the core web vitals are important, and also kind of not just like quickly trying to cover the why part of it, right? So why do we care about the core SEO? So one thing is core web vitals, sorry. One thing is the SEO benefits. This is rankings factor, and the other thing is the user experience, right? So if you have a better user experience on the page, it helps not just the user but also you to in whatever business objective you want to pursue, right? Now let's talk about the three terms, and what are the certain thresholds that might be important, right? So the largest contentful paint, right, or the LCP. So the largest contentful paint is a core web vital that measures the loading time. So it's the loading time metric, right? So this is basically, it depends on the page, right? It could be like a feature image, a particular H1, a particular block of text. So it is a large text which, has to be loaded so that user can, view something meaningful on the page. The threshold defined by Google is 2.5 seconds, or 2500 milliseconds. Anything below this value is considered as good, and then Google classifies it into good, needs improvement, and bad. So that is how Google, in the Google Search Console, it wants to classify. Few of the ways to improve your LCP score could be, remove unnecessary third-party scripts, install a CDN, upgrade to a faster web host, cache the assets, remove large page elements, minify your CSS, etc. But it's very it depends on the particular case-to-case basis. So something could be relevant to your business and the way your tech has been implemented. Moving on to the second one, right, which is the first input delay, right? First input delay. The first input delay is a core web vital which measures the time to interactive, right? So earlier there were other interactive. How does the page become interactive, right? When if there is any input element in any button, that will become useful, right? Will become clickable and things like that. So that is what the Google would measure in order to kind of as a core web vital. The threshold for this metric is 100 milliseconds. Anything below this is good. From 100 milliseconds to a certain value needs improvement, and then beyond that is bad. You can definitely Google out the specifics. Now moving on to the ways to improve your FID score, right? So you can minimize or defer the JavaScript. You can remove the non-essential third-party scripts. Some of them are overlapping with the previous one. And you can implement browser caching. You can follow the Google advice for your specific URL. So in the Google Search Console as well, there are certain advice that has been given. So these are the things. Now comes the CLS, right? CLS is very interesting. So it's cumulative, layout shift, right? So CLS is interesting because it's it measures the visual stability, as we've discussed earlier, and it looks at the proportion of the screen that shifts, right? Any kind of shift will be measured here. There are definitely nuances around it. It's beyond the scope of this session, but this is like at a very high level. It measures the number of shifts. There is a way to calculate the CLS, and it finally gives us a particular score, right? So a particular score of 0.1, anything below 0.1, Google considers it to be good, and then beyond that would be needs improvement and bad. Generally at a very high level, the idea is to in order to improve your CLS, you need to set the attribute dimensions for any media, maybe image or GIFs or things like that. If there's any ad, make sure that the ad doesn't when it appears, it doesn't kind of change the overall layout of the page. Any pop-up banners should not cause the screen shift. Moving on to how to measure the core web vitals, right? So there are a bunch of the Google tools as well that can help you measure the CLS. Google, needless to say, Google Search Console provides you a very in hand kind of handy data There are page speed insight tool. There are Google Lighthouse, Google Web.dev. There are multiple of tools that are there. There's a Chrome extension as well, which you can try. So this is wraps up my session around the Core Web Vitals. Thanks a lot.